she posted, "My boyfriend cried during a movie. Imagine being that emotional." The movie was about a father with Alzheimer's. My dad had just been diagnosed. I commented, "Imagine dating someone this cruel." Then I shared why I cried. When her entire friend group turned on her in the comments. Original post. I, 28 male, have been sitting on this for about a week, and I still get this tight feeling in my chest when I think about it, so I figured writing it out might help. Fair warning, this one's a ride. Quick background. My dad got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's about 2 months ago. He's 61, still mostly himself right now. Cracks jokes, remembers who everyone is, beats me at cards. But the doctors were blunt. The progression varies, but the trajectory doesn't. We're looking at years of slow decline. My mom is a wreck. My older sister moved back home to help. I've been driving 3 hours every other weekend to spend time with him while he's still him. I'm not going to sit here and describe what it feels like to watch your dad forget how to do things he taught you. You either know or you don't. I'll just say it's the kind of grief that starts before anyone dies. So, my girlfriend. We'd been together about 10 months. Met through mutual friends at a barbecue. She was funny, confident, always the loudest person in the room. I liked that at first because I'm more of a quiet guy. Opposites attract, or whatever. Things were solid for a while. She met my parents twice. My dad liked her. He said she had moxie. That's such a dad word. 2 weekends ago, she came over to my apartment, and I suggested we watch a movie. I've been wanting to see this film that came out recently. Won't name it, but it's about a man in his 60s whose memory starts failing, and you watch the whole thing from his perspective, so the audience experiences the confusion with him. It's brutal. Beautifully made, but brutal. I knew it would hit close to home, but honestly I think I wanted it to. Sometimes you need to feel the thing you've been holding at arm's length. About 40 minutes in, there's this scene where the father looks at his adult daughter and asks her who she is. Just completely blank. And the daughter's face. The actress just absolutely nails it. That quiet devastation. I lost it. Not like sobbing uncontrollably, but tears streaming, couldn't talk for a minute. Because that scene is my future. That's going to be my dad looking at me and not knowing who I am. It hit me like a freight train. My girlfriend noticed. She paused the movie and looked at me, and I expected, I don't know, a hand on my shoulder? "Are you okay?" Instead, she said, "Are you crying? At a movie?" Me, "Yeah. This is basically what's happening with my dad, right?" "I know, but it's still just a movie. It's actors." Me, "The situation isn't fictional for me." She did this little shrug and said, "Okay," and unpaused the movie. Not mean exactly, but dismissive in a way that stung. I wiped my face, and we finished the movie. She left about an hour later, and things fell off, but I told myself I was being sensitive. The next morning, I woke up to 6 text messages from my buddy. Just links and "dude, and you need to see this." She'd posted on her Instagram story a photo of us on the couch from the night before. She must have taken it while I was watching the movie before the crying even happened, with text over it that said, "My boyfriend cried during a movie faced with tears of joy. Imagine being that emotional LMAO." Then a second slide that said, "I need a man, not a golden retriever skull." I stared at my phone for probably 3 full minutes. My buddy had screenshot both slides before they disappeared. Now here's the thing about me. I'm not a confrontational person. I avoid drama like it's a toll road. But something about this, the timing, the cruelty, the fact that she knew why I was emotional and still chose to mock me publicly, something just snapped into place. Not anger exactly, more like clarity. She'd posted those stories to her Instagram, where she has about 1,400 followers. Mostly friends, coworkers, people from college. The stories were public. And because stories disappear in 24 hours, I think she assumed there'd be no consequences. Screenshot and gone. Plausible deniability. But my buddy had already screenshot them. And the thing about stories is that people can reply to them. So I did something I've never done before in my life. I replied to her story. Publicly visible comment on her most recent grid post. A selfie from 2 days before with some caption about living her best life. I kept it simple. My comment, "Imagine dating someone for 10 months, telling them your father was just diagnosed with Alzheimer's, watching a movie about Alzheimer's together, and then posting your boyfriend's tears as content for laughs." The movie hit home because my dad won't remember my name in a few years. But sure, imagine being that emotional. I don't have to imagine dating someone this cruel. I just lived it. Then I blocked her. I know what you're thinking. Petty? Maybe. But I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't name call. I just told the truth in the same public space she'd used to humiliate me. What happened next is why I'm here. Within about 4 hours, her post had over 200 comments. I couldn't see them because I blocked her, but my buddy was keeping me updated in real time like a sports commentator. Apparently her friend group, the same people who'd been replying with laughing emojis to her stories, completely flipped. Her college roommate commented something like, "This is genuinely one of the worst things I've ever seen someone do." Her coworker replied, "I can't believe I hyped you up in the DMs for this. I'm embarrassed." 3 of her close friends unfollowed her within the hour. The comment section turned into a full-on accountability session. She deleted the post. Then she deleted a bunch of posts. Then she went private. About 6 hours after my comment, she tried to call me. Blocked. She texted from her friend's phone, "You had no right to embarrass me like that." That was a private moment. I responded from my phone, "You posted it publicly to 1,400 people." I just added context. She didn't reply to that. That was a week ago. I'm single now, obviously. I haven't heard from her directly since, though the fallout is apparently still happening. I'll get into that in the updates if people want them. Right now, I'm just sitting with this weird mix of I did the right thing, and I wish none of this had happened. My dad called me yesterday and asked how my girlfriend was doing. I told her we broke up. He said her loss, kid, and then asked if I want to play chess over FaceTime. We played for an hour. He won. I'm going to hold on to that for as long as I can. Update 1, 6 days later. Okay, so the comments on the last post were overwhelming in the best way. A lot of you shared your own experiences with family members and Alzheimer's, and I read every single one. Thank you for that. Seriously. Now, the fallout. Because this woman did not go quietly into the night. Day 2 after my comment, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I normally don't answer those, but something told me to pick up. It was her older sister. And let me tell you, the entitlement in this family is apparently genetic. Her sister, "Hey, so, my sister's really upset, and I think you owe her an apology." Me? For what? Her sister. For publicly humiliating her. You could have handled that privately. Me? She publicly mocked me, crying about my father's terminal illness. I responded with the truth. What part of that requires my apology? Her sister. Look, she makes jokes. That's her personality. She didn't mean anything by it. You're being way too sensitive about this. Me? My father has Alzheimer's. Her sister. I know that, but... Me? No. I need you to hear that sentence. My father has Alzheimer's. He will progressively lose his memory, his personality, and eventually his ability to function. Your sister watched me process that grief in real time and turn it into a punchline for Instagram engagement. And you're calling me to say I should apologize. Her sister, you didn't have to put her on blast like that. Me, she didn't have to post it. We both made choices. The difference is mine was honest. She hung up on me. Classic. Day 3 is when things got genuinely ugly. My ex apparently started a damage control campaign. She posted a news story. I heard about this from my buddy who has a burner account because he's nosy and I love him for it. That said something like, when your ex twists a joke into something it wasn't to make you look bad. Manipulation at its finest. Real men don't weaponize sympathy. So now I'm the manipulator. Got it. A few people in her orbit apparently bought it. Her cousin reposted it with one of those "Stay Strong, Queen" type captions. But here's what she didn't count on. My buddy had screenshot the original stories. The ones where she mocked me. And people were sharing those screenshots in group chats. You can spin a narrative all you want, but when the receipts are just right there, it's hard to sell. It was just a joke, when the joke is laughing at someone crying about their dying parent. Day 4. This is the one that really tested me. I got a DM on Instagram. She'd apparently created a new account since I'd blocked her main, and it was a long message. I'll paraphrase because it was rambling, but the gist was, "You ruined my friendships. You ruined my reputation. People on my job saw the comments, and now everyone looks at me differently. I hope you're happy. All because you couldn't take a joke." I didn't respond. I just screenshot it and sent it to my buddy with she made a whole new account for this. And he responded, the audacity is almost impressive. But here's what actually happened at her job and why I know about it. One of her coworkers, the one who'd commented on the original post about being embarrassed, is apparently friends with a guy in my recreational basketball league. Small world stuff. He told me, without me asking, that the screenshot of her story had been going around their office. Not because anyone was being malicious, but because she worked in an HR-adjacent role at a mid-sized company and multiple people in the office felt like someone who would publicly humiliate their partner's grief showed spectacularly poor judgment. I want to be clear, I didn't send anything to her workplace. I didn't orchestrate any of that. I made one public comment on one Instagram post. Everything else was her own content circulating through networks that already existed. She built the stage, and I just turned the lights on. Day 5. My mom called me. Apparently my ex had found my mom's phone number. I'm guessing from my phone when we were together because I never gave it to her, and called her. She called my mom and told her that I had been emotionally abusive during our relationship and that the Instagram thing was me controlling the narrative after the breakup. My mom, bless her, is a 58-year-old woman who has been dealing with her husband's Alzheimer's diagnosis and has approximately zero patience for drama. She told me the conversation lasted about 90 seconds and went something like, "My ex, I just want you to know the kind of person your son really is." My mom, "Honey, I know exactly the kind of person my son is. He drives 6 hours round trip every other weekend to play card with his father while he still can. What kind of person calls a stranger to badmouth her own ex? My ex. He humiliated me online." My mom, "You mocked a boy crying about his daddy's illness on the internet for strangers to laugh at, and now you're calling his mother for sympathy? I'm going to hang up now. Please lose this number." When my mom told me about this call, 2 things happened. First, I was furious that my ex had dragged my mother, who is going through the hardest experience of her life, into this petty nonsense. Second, I was so proud of my mom I could have burst. But the fact that she called my mom, that crossed a line I didn't know existed. My mom doesn't need this. She's got enough. I called my ex from my buddy's phone. She picked up immediately. "Me. This is me. I'm going to say this once. Do not contact my family. My mother is caring for a man with a degenerative brain disease. She doesn't have the bandwidth for your feelings about Instagram comments. If you reach out to anyone in my family again, I'll pursue a harassment complaint. That's not a threat. That's a boundary." Her, "Oh, so now you want to talk? When it's about protecting mommy." Me, goodbye. I hung up. Then I went to the bathroom and sat on the edge of the tub for about 10 minutes because my hand was shaking. Not from anger, from exhaustion. Grief is already heavy enough without someone actively trying to make it worse. More coming in the next update, because she wasn't done. And honestly, neither was I. Update 2, 12 days later. Last update. I promise. I need to be done talking about this person. So after the phone call where I told her to stay away from my family, things went quiet for about 4 days. I thought maybe the message got through. I was wrong, but the silence was nice while it lasted. Day 9 after the original comment. I'm at my rec basketball game, and my buddy nudges me during a water break and hands me his phone. My ex had posted again, new account, public this time, a long caption under a selfie. It was this carefully crafted essay about surviving emotional abuse and how manipulative people use sympathy to control public perception. No names, but specific enough details that anyone who knew the situation would know exactly who she was talking about. She painted this whole picture of a controlling boyfriend who isolated her from friends and used a family health crisis as emotional leverage in arguments. She said she'd been walking on eggshells for months and that the Instagram story was just a lighthearted joke that he weaponized to destroy my social life. Now, this is the part where I have to be honest about what I was feeling. Because when I read that post, the first thing I felt wasn't anger. It was fear. Accusations like emotional abuse and manipulation. Those stick to men in a way that's hard to shake. You don't get to just say, "That's not true," and have everyone believe you. The court of public opinion doesn't work that way, especially not for dudes. I knew that. She knew that. That's exactly why she used those words. I sat in my car after the game for a long time. My buddy sat with me. He didn't say anything for a while, And then he goes, "You know you have the receipts, right? You have the screenshots. You have the timeline. You have your mom as a witness to the phone call. You have her DM from the fake account admitting she was upset about losing friendships, not about being abused." Her own words contradict everything in that post. He was right. And that's when I made the decision that I think ended this. I didn't make a post. I didn't write a rebuttal essay. I didn't go on some crusade. Instead, I did something much simpler and honestly much more devastating. I sent a message to 3 people: her college roommate who'd commented on the original post, the coworker who'd expressed disgust, and one of the close friends who'd unfollowed her. I sent each of them the same thing: the screenshots of her original stories mocking me, the screenshot of her DM to me from the fake account where she blamed me for ruining her friendships, not a word about abuse, just anger about social consequences, and a brief message that said, "I'm not going to make a public post about this." But she's now claiming I was abusive. You've seen the actual timeline. I just want the truth to exist somewhere outside my own phone. Do with this what you will. That's it. I didn't ask them to do anything. I didn't campaign. I just made sure the people who were actually there had all the information. And what they did with it was their choice. Her college roommate, who I later learned had known my ex for almost 8 years, apparently called her directly and told her, "I've seen the screenshots. All of them. The DM you sent him, the stories, everything. You weren't abused. You got caught being cruel, and you've been throwing everything at the wall to avoid accountability. I'm done." The coworker apparently shared the DM screenshot, the one where my ex was furious about losing friendships, with zero mention of abuse, in a private group chat with other people from their office. The contrast between that DM and the emotional abuse survivor post was apparently so stark that whatever remaining support my ex had at work evaporated. And the friend who'd unfollowed her? She actually reached out to me directly. She said she'd been friends with my ex for 3 years and had noticed a pattern of my ex rewriting history whenever she faced consequences. She told me she'd watched my ex do something similar to an ex-boyfriend before me. Not the Alzheimer's part, but the pattern of doing something messed up, getting called out, and then spinning herself as the victim. She said she should have warned me when we first started dating. I told her it wasn't her fault. Within about a week of my messages, the emotional abuse post was gone. No explanation, no follow-up, just deleted. Her account went private again. The damage control campaign was apparently over because there was no one left to campaign to. Now here's the part one want to be real about. I didn't win. That's not how this feels. My ex lost friendships and professional respect and probably spent a couple of genuinely miserable weeks. And I spent those same weeks dealing with a knot in my stomach while also driving to see my dad, who was starting to repeat stories he told me 20 minutes ago. There's no version of this where I come out feeling triumphant. I come out feeling tired. But I do feel something I didn't feel 2 weeks ago, and that's peace. Not the good kind. Not joy or relief. Just the quiet kind. The "this is handled and I can stop looking over my shoulder" kind. My ex's sister tried to reach out one more time through a LinkedIn message, which is honestly such a weird choice of platform that I almost respected the creativity. The message said I had destroyed her sister's life and that she hoped I felt good about myself. I didn't respond. I reported it as spam and moved on. Here's what I keep coming back to. Everything that happened to my ex, the lost friendships, the office fallout, the public embarrassment, all of it traces back to one choice she made. She could have seen me cry during that movie and put her arm around me. She could have asked me how I was doing. She could have said, "I know this is hard for you." Instead, she took a photo, opened Instagram, typed out a caption mocking my grief, and posted it for validation. Every consequence that followed was just the natural result of that one decision working its way through the lives of people who were watching. I didn't manufacture anything. I just refused to let the truth stay hidden. My dad and I played chess over FaceTime again last night. He forgot a rule midway through, tried to move his bishop like a knight, and when I gently corrected him, he laughed and said, "I'm just testing you." Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. I laughed with him either way. He asked me if I was seeing anyone. I said not right now. He said, "Good. Focus on yourself for a while. The right person won't make you feel small for having a big heart." I wrote that down after we hung up. because one day he won't remember saying it, and I want to have it somewhere permanent. That's the end. Thanks for reading. Take care of your people while you can.